Why do we even do a podcast, Lauren?
Because we have to, Joshua.
What? No, that is not the answer. Not because we have to. Nobody has to do a podcast.
I disagree.
If there's one thing that the commenters have told us on our clips videos is that, you don't have to do a podcast, right, guys?
No, I believe we do have to do it. We heard a voice in a burning bush, and it told us to start this podcast.
You think God wants us to do this podcast?
Well, I think a homeless man hiding behind a burning bush told us to do this podcast.
But who are we? Why do we come? Why are we doing a podcast every week about things going on in the world? What do we fucking know about it? We're nobody.
Oh, I think nobody's give the best insight into things.
As opposed to...
Because we got no stakes in anything.
That's true. Everybody mostly listens to elite rich people and what their opinion on the news is, right?
Yeah.
And then they just, turn that into propaganda so that then that way they can create their own narrative for what the news is. We don't have any reason to give any kind of narrative other than a funny one.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do spin here. We don't spin.
Well, I spin. Well, you sit down and you spin on it.
Well, sometimes.
When the podcast is over, I sit down on the mic and I spin on that.
That's true.
So we have a little bit of spin.
Okay, there's a touch of spin that
There's
goes
a
on.
touch of spin at Working Crass Podcast.
Yeah. A wee bit of spin.
But
But
it's hard
definitely
to...
no slander. We don't slander.
We do. It's mostly slander. Working Crass is mostly slander.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Well, you just said it. Okay. All right, fair. You gave up on that one quick. We don't slander. Yeah, we do. All right. Well, you might be right about that.
I'm foiled.
Well, shit. I guess you're right about that. We do slander. No, we don't slander anybody. Except if they're like elite people, then we feel okay, Unless they're the rich elite.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sometimes we slander just nobodies too.
That's true.
We only slander people. We don't slander anyone. You're right that we don't slander somebody individually, and we don't dox people and shit on somebody specific. We just laugh about the things that they do in public.
Yeah, we josh, we rib, we joke, we jest.
You know how many people in my life have been like, "I'm just joshing ya," and then point at me and then think that I'm supposed to go, "Oh, I've never heard that before."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I like
You're
that.
just meing me.
I like that they point at you like they've said something really profound and clever.
Yeah. No, every single time I've ever heard it, they look at me like, "Isn't that the best thing you've ever heard?"
Should I have a comedy special?
Just joshing ya.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, folks, welcome to Working Crass Podcast. This is Lauren.
Hello.
And I'm Joshua, and we're back for another week of Crass.
Yeah, a week of Crass.
A week of Crass. A lot's gone on.
Crassination.
Crassination. Well, as you guys may have seen in the news, the president was almost accrassinated. There was an accrassination attempt, as there always is on this podcast. Always an attempt at accrassination.
Yeah.
Sometimes we succeed in our accrassination attempt, and sometimes we don't. Yeah. I already have a name for the episode, Accrassination Station.
Yeah, it's wild. As soon as we take a week off,
what do you mean as soon as we take a week off? We've been so irregular on this podcast. It's the week. It's like how about this? The week after we actually put out an episode for once.
It's always the week that we're off. The world just goes to hell in a handbasket. It just shit erupts.
Really,
I
what it is?
I just said that very rednecky. Erupts.
Shit erupts. That's like me anytime I eat Chipotle. Shit just erupts. No, really what it is that things happen in the world, and they send us closer to World War III and total annihilation of all of the human species. And then I go, I don't feel like podcasting today. It's always we have scheduled to podcast, and I have everything set up for us to podcast, and then the world gets thrown into an array of
chaos, and then you start to have existential crises,
and I go, what? And then I have to start a podcast asking you, why do we even do this? What is the point? We're all going to die. Why are we recording a podcast? This is the podcast at the end of the world. It really is.
Well, after the, nuclear war happens, there will be some mutant creatures that emerge from the ashes.
And they need to listen to something while they work.
Exactly. As they rebuild civilization.
This can be the podcast that people listen to as they rebuild from the ash.
No. Not people. Mutants.
I'm sorry. This will be the podcast the mutants will listen to as they rebuild civilization from the ground up after it's been burned to the ground.
Yeah. That's what I like to think our podcast is. That's our target demo.
I should start every episode with, hello, mutants. Welcome to Working Crass Podcast.
Yeah. Hello, future mutants.
Hello, post-apocalyptic creatures. Welcome to Working Crass Podcast. The podcast that details what the world was like right before it
blew up.
Exploded.
Yep.
Hello, Martians. Welcome to Working Crass Podcast. What you found here is a time capsule of what the world used to look like.
Yep. And we're just going to assume that the one world order that takes over after the nuclear fallout, that they'll allow Working Crass Podcast. Like, that will be the thing that they're like, all right. The mutants can have this.
I hope we're the first show back, Yeah. I hope we're the first one whenever they start to, take all of the media that they found in the archives of the internet after it's been, destroyed, and they go, you know what, we'll keep this. We'll put this one out for the mutants.
Yeah. Keep
the mutants happy, make them laugh.
Yeah.
I hope so. But no, there was an assassination attempt at the president.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it, I guess. Do you have anything particularly interesting to say about it?
I mean, I've got
theories. Nobody's said before. We both have theories, but if we want to stay on YouTube, which theories can we openly say out loud?
I say we say all of our theories.
All of our theories?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's my theory is none of it matters, and it's all fucking pointless, and we should just give up and spend these last moments with our families before this all explodes and before we all die a fiery burn death. That's my opinion. That's my opinion on it. But I'm not feeling too happy today. So that's just yeah, but no, there was an assassination attempt, and of course, a lot of things are coming out about it. A lot of weird details.
Yeah, I mean, it's smelling pretty fishy.
It's literally every single day there's a new weird fishy detail that's like.
Yeah, I mean, it's smelling like we're at we're in a marina.
Here's what I think happened.
We're underneath the pier.
I'll
on
tell
the
you.
Boardwalk.
I'll tell you my theory on what I think how this happened. There was a 20-year-old boy, right, who registered as a conservative, and he acted alone, and he had no online presence whatsoever before this, even though he was clearly a politically motivated and extremist kind of minded person to have to try to assassinate the president, but he acted alone. The Secret Service did their job, and the guy, showed up, tried to shoot the president. He was a crazy. It was kind of a one-off thing, and
Yeah.
And it is what it is. That's
Yeah.
my theory of what happened.
Yeah, and
My theory lines up exactly with what we're being told.
yeah, and the roof was too sloped for the Secret Service, but
That's part of my theory
as
as well.
you know, like far right extremist terrorist types, they can withstand a sloped roof.
Yeah.
So it was just a lose-lose situation, really.
And I've heard a lot of, conspiracy theories like the guy he might have been registered as a Republican, but he donated to leftist organizations before all of this happened. But I'm going to throw that one to the side, okay? That one's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Here's how I look at the news. If the news tells me something that that bumps up against what I already think, then I think it's a conspiracy and I don't think it's real. If it confirms what I already think, then I believe it.
Yeah.
And that's how you decipher if the news is telling you the truth or not, by the way.
Yeah.
If the news tells you what you already think, then it's right. If the news tells you something that isn't quite what you see the world as, then it's wrong.
Yeah. And if the news tells you to don't look into it any further,
you don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to look into it any further.
You just need to stop what you're doing, accept what they've fed you, and
trust
move on
the
with your
experts.
day.
Trust the experts.
Follow the science.
Follow the science. Even if the experts and the science have lied many times before, you need to listen to them.
Their lies are actually the truth. Yeah.
I do like seeing there's all, because comedians who are left-leaning, and I say comedians loosely in this sense, but people on the internet who are left-leaning like to think that they're edgy. Mm-hmm. Love to think that they're super edgy. And so, there's just been a slew of people who are saying like, oh, I wish, the shooter hadn't missed. And, oh, man, so close. We really, should have enacted political violence and assassinated the president. And it's funny to watch all of those people lose their jobs and like get in trouble publicly for, calling for the assassination of a president, because they, when they get in trouble for it, they go, I don't understand. I thought he was Hitler. You all told me he was Hitler. This is the Dave Smith thing that's like, you don't pray for the speedy recovery of Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they were told constantly that this is the biggest threat to democracy ever.
To existence. They said he was an existential threat.
He was an existential threat. That, as soon as Trump gets in office, Project 2025 is enacted, and any person of color is getting sent to the camps. That's like what they've been telling people.
Yeah.
That's literally, I've seen that kind of stuff over and over. And then somebody tries to take him out, and they're like, why would you do that? And then, people cheer on the person trying to assassinate the president. They go, why would you cheer on political violence? And their response is, because you told me he's Hitler. Yeah. But it bothers me a little bit, like that these people are losing their jobs. Look, I think that their jokes are not edgy and it's stupid. And I don't think that we should call for political violence or celebrate the attempted assassination of a president at all. But I also don't like individual citizens having their freedom of speech taken away from them when the reason why they thought that was okay was the media figures constantly telling them that this person is, like, convincing them that it is okay to assassinate a president. Yeah. I mean, how many videos have we seen recently of not just Biden himself, but other people in the media and other lefty kind of comedians calling for people to assassinate the president, but nothing happens to them. It's just the individual sovereign citizens who make a joke who end up losing their job. Yeah. I'm like, I don't think that those people should be calling for the assassination of a president, but I also think the people who made them think that was okay are culpable in this as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'll say this. Even if the media hadn't been doing that, I think just as a free speech absolutist, those people should be allowed to say whatever thing that they want to say, even if I personally think it's wrong.
I agree. Yep.
I
It's
think
always
the
like, I
best-
disagree, but I support your right to say whatever it is that you want to say.
Exactly,
But there's
and
a reason why they all think it's okay to celebrate the potential assassination of a president. And that's
Sure,
because
yeah.
they've all been fed lies.
Yeah.
They've
And-
all been fed lies, constant lies.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
And I just-
the people in the media who are now saying like, "Oh, this is a really tragic event, and we really need to tone down the divisiveness of the way we're talking about things, and we really need to make sure that we never condone political violence." It's like, well, then that means everything you've been saying the last several years is a bullshit lie.
Yeah.
Because if he actually was an existential threat to democracy and the world itself, and is, their words, literally Hitler, then they would celebrate an attempted assassination attempt. But they're not, because they know that they were lying the whole time.
I saw this thing. There's this lady on CNN who was like, basically chastising Trump for after he got shot and then gets back up, and his way of communicating to the audience that he was okay, and he says fight, 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 and she's like, he really shouldn't have done that. We need to be tampering things down right now. We need to be taking the temperature down. He shouldn't have said fight, fight, fight. That was really a bad move. It's like
he literally just got shot at like seconds before, and he really needs to think about his actions after a bullet flies at his head.
Yeah. He should have had a well-prepared thought after he just got shot.
He should have stood up, blood all over his face, and go, "I condone political violence. It's wrong. What just happened was wrong."
He should have given a nuanced speech right after he got shot.
He should have stood back up and kept talking.
That's just like, that's crazy. No, the real thing is that lady's just mad because it looks so damn cool.
It looked awesome. I mean,
Like that picture is just the most patriotic thing since the paintings of Washington crossing the Delaware.
Yes, exactly. How that line, and the person who took that photo, like as soon as he looks down at his camera and sees the photo,
he's like, I'm a billionaire
he's
now.
like, I just made so much fucking money. This is awesome.
Yep.
Literally, his fist in the air, the American flag behind him, blood running down his face, Secret Service carrying him off, and him just fist in the air.
Yep.
It's awesome. I gotta say, as someone who's never voted for Trump and doesn't plan on ever voting for Trump, that was pretty cool.
I would just like
fucking awesome.
I would just like to say that I hope in the history books in the future that they'll have that picture, and underneath it will say, "This is the moment when Trumpomania kicked off."
Yeah. It's Trumpomania, brother. That was awesome too. You have to admit, I mean, it was cheesy as hell, and it reminded me a lot of the film Idiocracy and everyone else too. But it was pretty awesome.
It was pretty funny.
At the RNC, if nobody's seen that, go look up Hulk Hogan at the RNC
Trumpomania.
ripping his shirt. Hey, you know what? Why am I saying go look it up? Everyone has seen this now. I can't even open my phone without like a gif of him ripping his shirt open.
There's little babies in strollers who are doing the motion, going Trumpomania.
Trumpomania is about to begin, brother.
Everybody knows about it.
That is crazy.
I don't know, man.
They really turned it into a wrestling spectacle.
It's
more
always
so
been.
than it already was.
Yeah.
It's always, you're correct. It's always been a wrestling spectacle, and now
Yeah.
it's. I mean, we turned on the RNC. We didn't plan on watching any of it. I turned it on, and it says featuring Hulk Hogan. Who was the other guy?
Dana
White
and Kid Rock.
and Kid Rock and Donald Trump. It was like going to a UFC event. It's crazy.
Yep.
And then he walks out with like his name and all the lights, and it's like, dur, 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 dur. He's like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah. Oh man, it's just, I don't know. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty awesome.
A heavyweight belt just dropped down from the ceiling.
We're definitely like, we're living in historical times, Lauren.
Yeah. Nobody knew that they were going to be this stupid, but it is scary, but also funny.
And stupid at the same time.
Yeah. It's all
of the things.
Yeah.
It's everything everywhere all at once.
I guess Mike Judge knew it was going to be this stupid, but
Mike Judge, yeah.
But nobody beyond Mike Judge,
yeah,
could have ever foresaw the level of stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's wild. I think we're in wild territory because I think and I'm more conspiratorial than you are.
Yeah.
But I really think there's some sort of major event that's gonna happen, and the elites do not want Trump in office. They want to have the option to mass surveil people, and I think they're gonna try their hardest.
Yeah.
To keep their power, you know.
Well, I'll just say I'm glad I'm above the age of people that get drafted. I think I am. Last time I checked, I am. They don't draft people my age.
I don't know. They started doing that in Ukraine, so
yeah. But I'm saying I'm aged out of that.
You at least won't get in the first round.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Shit, fuck.
You won't be drafted in the first round.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not getting drafted at all.
No, but in Ukraine, they started running out of people, so they started drafting older folks.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why they had like these press conferences, and there was these like 40 and 50-year-old dudes just,
Jesus,
looking depressed as hell.
Jesus. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'm not aged. Thanks. I said, hey, this is the one thing that gives me hope. And you go, well, that's wrong.
And I said, I need to snuff out that candle. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to rain on your parade.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just go, fight in World War III and die. Can't we just have a peaceful world where, we can have a child and raise our child in the world that we grew up in? Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Ha
Yeah.
Well.
Much too good for children. Yeah.
I kept saying we went to this. We did a gig recently. Played music, and it was during Pride Month. It was the last day of Pride Month, and it's at a bar that is, we've been calling it a gay bar. It might not officially be a gay bar, but it's so popular with gays that it's a gay bar.
Yeah, I mean, the owner was wearing a pride flag cape.
Yeah. And like a little captain's hat.
Yeah. A glitter hat.
Yes. No, absolutely. It's a gay bar. But we did a show there, and then I could not stop saying afterwards. I was like, that was much too gay for children. Much too gay for children. Well, anyway, let's get on with some stories. There's a lot going on in the world. Sorry, I'm a little low energy today. I'm not feeling it, but that's okay. We're still going to do an episode anyway. And maybe you're out there and you're also not feeling it, and you feel like me. And you know what? That's good too.
Well, hey,
then you can relate to the podcast a little bit. This will be the first relatable episode. How about that?
Well, maybe you'll see one of these stories, Josh, and it will restore your hope. It will give you something to feel good about.
Maybe. And you know what? This one looks like a pretty good start here. So Lauren sent this over to me. She's been talking about it constantly, and this is a very funny clip. This happened during the debates when
right after the debate.
After the debate, when Biden was obviously embarrassed himself,
and his dementia was put on display for everybody.
And everybody is now calling for him to, pull out of the race so that they can replace him with somebody more competent. But
well, as of filming this, I'm pretty sure it's like official now.
Yeah,
that he's going to be releasing a.
They keep saying that, but I don't believe anything until it actually happens.
I don't know. I believe he's supposed to be having a press conference scheduled to.
Well, if it's happened by the time this episode comes out, then feel free to, go at me in the comments and tell me how wrong I was. But
we don't got anybody in the comments.
I say by the time this episode comes out, thanks, Lauren. I say by the time this episode comes out, he's still running and he's still in the race. So we'll find out. That being said, after the debate and his horrible performance, of course, we needed to find out what do the ladies of The View think about this.
Yeah.
Why do they still have a show? Why are they allowed on television regularly? Does anyone like The View? I was talking about The View at a lunch with all of my coworkers, and everyone agreed that The View is just absolutely ridiculous, and nobody listens to it for actual like opinions and news. It's just crazy ladies. It's crazy ladies saying the craziest shit in the world, and it absolutely does not reflect how actual people think about these things at all.
Yeah, but maybe
it is entertaining.
Maybe it's purely created for people to hate watch it.
Maybe it's made for Working Crass podcast.
I think so.
Here is Whoopi Goldberg on The View saying why she would still vote for Biden no matter what. No matter what, folks. Here we go.
I have my 2 cents because I wasn't here on the day that y'all talked about it. I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go. Now, he had a bad night.
If you poop your pants, isn't that showing you he can't do the job?
If he can't put a sentence together, he can't do the job.
Right, exactly.
Case in point.
I don't care if he's, vomiting out of his mouth on a regular basis and rolling on the floor in his own blood.
I don't care if he can't do the job. Tell me he can't do the job.
The first time that he went out and debated with Kamala Harris. And everybody wanted him to quit then, say you can't talk to women like this, or you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. He came back, said, you know what, I got it, and gave 4 years. So, yeah, I have poopy days all the time. I step in so much poo you can't even imagine.
I poop every day. Every morning I have my fiber oatmeal and I take a shit.
I'm pooping right now.
I'm shitting myself right this moment.
I just want to say I feel vindicated because we've often joked on this show that Whoopi always looks like she's farting.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moments when she's talking, if you watch The View closely, where she'd be like, well, what I think is that she'll let a little toot out often on The View.
So, yeah.
They should just call the show The Poo.
With Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. Let's check in with old Poopi. Why is she? What? This is the weirdest take. I haven't heard anybody watch that debate and then try to build an argument around poop. Like, it's really built all around poop. I don't care if he poops his pants. I poop. I have poopy days. I step in poop. And what's with the obsession with poop? Let the record show Biden didn't bring up poop at all at the debate. It's old Whoopi Goldberg bringing poop into the situation, okay? No one brought poop into the argument until now, until The View.
Well, I don't know why they thought this is going to make us look good.
They certainly knew it wasn't going to make them smell good.
Now, I'm not running the world, but I don't know anybody who doesn't step in stuff at some point.
Me, I've never stepped in poop, ever. Now, Lauren steps in poop all the time.
I'm like Charlie on It's Always Sunny.
Dog shit.
Yep.
Step right in it.
Yep. Just for funs.
I often have to pull Lauren out of the way because she'll just walk right into it.
Yeah. I have bad vision. I don't see it. It blends in, and
But your sense of smell should be good enough to be able to determine where the dukes are.
Yeah, but there's so many in Chicago. Our streets are flooded with dookie that it's hard for me to be able to discern where the smell is coming from.
I just think, Lauren, that there is in some way, there is an argument to be made for Biden should be president. I don't think it's a strong argument, but there is an argument. And this one is not it. I don't care if he shits his pants. I poop. He poops. I don't know anybody who doesn't step and poop. Now, I'm not the leader of the free world like he is, but hell, if he got to take a shit and let it run down his leg, let it happen. At what event would, like, what level of deterioration would Joe Biden have to go through for these people to then go, all right, well, maybe he can't be the president? I mean, I told you in our last episode, I mentioned it too, that I saw someone say, I don't care if he dies, I'll vote for his dead body over Trump.
Yeah.
I'm just like, look, let's not vote for dead bodies here, okay? I don't understand the thought process behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the, it's just team sports.
It is literally, it could not be any more transparent that it is team sports at this point, right? Because it's like, it used to be, a little more, the dialogue was a little more intelligent. So that, yes, it's team sports, but at least people would make a strong argument for their side.
Or just an argument.
Or an argument, right? Now it's literally, I don't care if my leader takes a poo-poo in his pants. He's my leader. It's my team. Right? Yeah. That's the argument.
Yeah. The South Park episode of the election between the giant douche and the turd sandwich.
That's reality.
Yeah. It's turning into reality because...
So we've learned that the only people that could have seen the reality we're living in coming are Mike Judge, Matt Stone, and Trey Parker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Josh and Lauren of Working Crass Podcast.
Yeah, we spotted it. We spotted it.
We saw it coming from a mile away. We smelled it coming. That poo-poo in his pants.
We smelled it.
Smelled it.
But we didn't
dealt it.
Yeah.
Damn right. Well, to move on to similar political stuff, this also happened after the RNC.
Hold on, before we get to this, you know how there's that phrase? It's like vote blue no matter who. That's like what people say about the left. Yeah. Now it's gonna just be vote blue no matter poo.
No matter poo.
Yeah.
Like I say, vote poo. Vote poo no matter who. Whoever poops wins.
Well, that too.
That's what we need to do. Here's what we're doing. We're going to sit these two presidential candidates on the toilet, all right? We're going to put a scale on the toilet, too. And whichever one of them takes the heaviest shit wins the presidency.
Well, I guess Bono automatically wins then.
Yeah, the biggest shit in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bono's going to win.
No, I said the two presidential candidates. Bono ain't a presidential candidate. We're talking about Trump and Biden sitting on the toilet.
Yeah,
Trump takes a dump. Biden uses a bidet.
A Trump dump.
A Trump dump.
Oh, that should be the next thing he sells.
That should be.
Yeah.
It would be if Biden shit his pants. The next debate would be like, I shit my pants much better. I take bigger shits. Fantastic shits. People love my shits. They say they love my shits. People look at my poop. They go, wow, that's such a beautiful poop.
Yeah. Yeah.
My shit doesn't stink.
Never smelled.
I told my doctor, I said.
I can only do Bernie
my poop
Sanders.
Doesn't. Yeah, I know. I can't do a Trump that well.
Everything just turns into old Jewish man from New York for me.
But he's in that realm. He's in that old Jewish New York voice.
But he's got a very specific cadence.
It's very specific cadence.
So anyway, I'm sorry to derail.
My doctor smelled it. He says, wow, it doesn't smell. I say, yes, it doesn't smell at all. Never smelled. It's amazing. Anyway.
People everywhere loved it.
People love my poop. Everyone loves my poop.
They all loved it.
They all loved it. We should get Nate back on the podcast to do a Trump. He's really good at that.
Yeah, your brother does a good one. Yeah.
Have him come back on and do a post-accrastination interview.
Update.
Yeah, we should have him call in because he can do some pretty great voices. We should do some like call-in episodes where he calls in as Trump or the eat that poo poo guy because he could do that voice like nobody's business.
But do you think that's too close to what Jimmy Dore does?
Oh, Jimmy Dore does that, but so did Jay Leno and so did Conan O'Brien. They all did that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a common thing, right?
Yeah, we're still like an artist. We're just being inspired by the greats.
Yeah, exactly. Now they all do it better than us, but okay, so the next story here is from the RNC. Obviously, those of you who know or have been following these things know that Trump did pick his vice presidential candidate JD Vance, and who I know nothing about. I'll be honest. I absolutely know nothing about him, other than he looks kind of evil.
I only know a little bit about him.
Yeah, but every picture I see of him, I don't like his look. There's something about his look. He looks like the mean principal.
Maybe, but
now I'm sure he's a great guy. He wrote that Hillbilly Elegy, which was a movie and is apparently really good as well.
Well, it's about his life.
It's about his life specifically?
Yes, it's his like autobiography.
Interesting.
Well, I think up until the point that he goes to the Marines or goes to Yale, but
I'll have to check. I'll have to look into that.
But it's basically about growing up in Appalachia amidst the opioid crisis, and his mom, I think, was a drug addict, and how he overcame like the odds of having a dysfunctional home life and living in poverty. And
I hate election season. I don't care about any of these fucking people. I hate once we get closer to the elections and we start talking about all of these people. I don't give a shit.
I just know that
here's what I care about.
He's an
waking
America
up in the
first
morning,
guy.
eating my breakfast, taking a fat shit in the morning to make sure that I don't have a tummy ache later in the day. I have to take my poops in the morning. I like to read my book. I like to go to work. I like to get paid from my job. I like to come home. I like to play Skyrim for a little bit. I like to joke around with my wife. Maybe I'd like to stick my wiener inside my wife every once in a while. And then and maybe sometimes I don't. Maybe I just want to lay on the couch and jerk off. I don't really care. I don't care who the president is. I hate the election season. It's so annoying. I don't want to know who any of these people are. Is that okay?
I think that's okay.
I'm sick and tired of having to know who these people are. None of them do their jobs anyway. That's why we all have to know who they are and every action that they take, is because none of them do their job. And so we all have to keep watch on them and make sure that they do their job. Can't we just put someone in there that does their fucking job so that they could shut the hell up? I hate election season because everyone won't shut the hell up. This is why we might not be great for a podcast, because a podcast is two people talking into a microphones. I appreciate when people just shut the fuck up. I like to shut the fuck up sometimes.
Well, it's a case of do as I say, not as I do.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I just
rules for thee and not for me.
I would just, rather be. It's like the bumper sticker I would have on my car if I had a car. I'd rather be jerking off right now. If I had a truck, I'd have a big old bumper sticker that says, "I'd rather be jerking off right now." When we're watching the RNC, I go, "I'd rather be jerking off right now."
Yeah, so your campaign is Make America Jerk Off again?
Make America jerk off. And I don't mean whacking my little ding dong and trying. I mean just, when someone says, "Hey, quit jerking off," like quit jerking around, quit wasting time. That's what I mean. I like wasting time. I love wasting time. Wasting time is so much fun. When you wake up in the morning, you decide, I'm not doing anything today. I'm going to cancel everything. And then you don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then that feeling of like dread inside your stomach by the end of the day of I didn't get anything done. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So you want a president who day one says, "I'm canceling everybody's plans."
Yes. If we could get a candidate to come out there and say, "Hey, you know what? Everything on the calendar, it's not happening." I go, yes.
Well, I think they tried that with COVID.
I guess that's true.
And then we all decided that's a little authoritarian, so.
Okay, here's what I would like. I would like, similar to COVID, because here's the thing. let's say similar to COVID, but they say, hey, everything on the calendar is wiped out if you'd like it to be. But if you want to go do it, you can. The problem with COVID is they said you can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
I say give people the choice. If you don't want to do anything, don't do anything. If you want to do things, do things. I would vote for that president in a heartbeat.
So you want the president?
I would jerk off, and this time I do mean whacking my little ding dong until it spurts.
So you want the president to say, I will, for those who want it, I will cancel your plans and I will call your friends up with a well thought out excuse of why you can't show up.
Yes. Yes. I want my.
But for those who don't want it, I won't do it.
Yes. My future president would walk up to a podium and goes, do what you want. And then I go, that's my president. I would be Hulk Hogan ripping my fucking shirt off. Go vote for this man, brother.
Yeah. Now, what if somebody's like, well, I want to kidnap kids?
God, there's always someone that has to complicate it. Okay? No, don't kidnap kids. Okay? Now we have to add more to the speech. Okay, my ideal president gets up behind the podium. He goes, do what you want, but don't do anything unreasonable.
And nothing that involves diddling or kidnapping the kids.
Sure, yes. Add that in there. Although he would have lost Byron's vote at that point.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, all right. Well, moving on. We were talking about J.D. Vance. And I saw this clip. I guess this is on MSNBC.
Yeah, and I want to say that I came up with a campaign slogan for Trump Vance.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Trump and Vance, Dems don't stand a chance.
Well, it's a good thing you don't work in politics.
Why? I think that's pretty damn good.
In this image that we're looking at here, is J.D. Vance wearing makeup? There's clearly eyeliner on this guy's eyes.
Okay, so they were... Well, how do you know that this isn't like a CNN, when they made Rogan orange when he had COVID kind of deal?
No.
How do you know that,
No,
that CNN didn't go, we're going to make him look like evil Spider-Man, evil Tobey Maguire in the third movie?
Because I know how Photoshop works and I know how video editing works. This is not digital. This is not a digital enhancement. That is eyeliner on this man. That is eyeliner. He looks like he's about to go to the RNC and go, when I was a young boy, my father took me into the city.
I don't know why it was a thing, but I feel like during the 2000s, bad boys in any like movie or TV show, they always put guyliner on them.
Always guyliner, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I always felt like that took away from the badness.
Am I wrong, Lauren? Does it look like he's wearing eyeliner?
Maybe he just has very dark eyelashes.
He has very dark eyelashes or something. It's literally a dark line around his eyes.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to convince anyone to vote one way or the other. I'm just saying this guy's wearing guyliner.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you vote however you want. I'm just saying he's gay.
You just don't see his black nail polish, his full set of rings, and his chain wallet. Yeah.
Oh man. What do you what do you think Trump is going to put him in charge of? Policing the posers?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I don't want any more posers.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all I know is he's supposed to be like an America First guy. He started off as like a never Trump.
Right. I've read all of that stuff
and
too.
Has since changed his mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the extent of what I know. But I'll have to investigate the guyliner. Maybe this is we start putting this out there into the ether. People were talking about how DeSantis wore high heels.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start the J.D. Vance wears eyeliner.
Guyliner.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's pretty bad.
When I was a young boy, I said Trump was a danger to democracy. But now I've changed my mind. All right. Well, so anyway, this is a clip from MSNBC reporting on JD Vance.
So you know it will be
RNC stuff.
Yeah. So you know it will be nuanced and.
Oh no, yeah. You know everything they say will be true.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like Mr. Teal, who has named his companies after things in the Lord of the Rings series of J.R.R. Tolkien books. Lord of the Rings is a sort of favorite cosmos for naming things and cultural references for a lot of far-right and alt-right figures, both in Europe and the United States. Peter Thiel names all these things after Tolkien figures and places, like his company Palantir, for example. Like his mentor, like Peter Thiel, who had given him all his jobs in the world, Mr. Vance also, when he founded his own venture capital firm with help from Peter Thiel, named it after a Lord of the Rings thing. He called it Narya, Narya, which you can remember because it's Aryan, but you move the end to the front. Apparently that word has something to do with elves and rings from the Lord of the Rings series. I don't know.
Wow, I didn't know that Lord of the Rings was such a far right dog whistle. You know, I thought Stephen Colbert was like the biggest Lord of the Rings like fan. That's like his. I wonder what he thinks about this.
Yeah, I just remember
because him and Rachel Maddow are like butt buddies, right?
Oh, definitely.
And she's on his show all the time.
Yeah, they swap glasses.
I'd love
all
to
the
hear
time.
him respond to this. He never will. They'll never, criticize each other. He's not really allowed to criticize left-wing media, but
no, he's going out and burning all of his Lord of the Rings
I know,
merchandise
yeah.
as she's saying this.
And she had to go. It's basically the word Aryan, but you changed the letter. She really had to do that. That's like the cheapest shot I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough, man. That's news, man. That's like the mainstream media news coverage.
It is weird how far things have come because I remember being
like
in
bullying in my 4th grade class. Right.
I remember being in like middle school and people who liked Lord of the Rings, everybody just said you're a loser, you're gay,
right,
you're a dork.
Right. In my experience, honestly, the majority of like the nerds who like Lord of the Rings are lefty kind of people.
Right.
To be honest, I've never associated it with right-wing kind of people ever.
I think a lot of people from all sides of the spectrum like Lord of the Rings because it's just such a well-told story and it speaks to like the
you're saying
the foundational elements of human nature where it is like that good versus evil tale.
No, Lauren, all art is inherently political.
All art is inherently a Nazi propaganda symbol.
Lauren, you're trying to say that art speaks to the human condition and not our political system as it currently exists?
Oh, you're right. I said something stupid.
You're supposed to look at all art that's considered timeless and say, this is about Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's so fucking
Even if
stupid.
it was written 50, 70 years before Trump, it was about Trump.
It was about Trump.
They knew. They predicted him.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. And I've said that many times in the last few years, but today the bar's been lowered even further. Oh, God. I don't even have Lord of the Rings is right wing. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's stupid. That's the dumbest thing. If you like Lord of the Rings and you reference Lord of the Rings, that means you're on the right. And the reason why is because one or two people that are prominent Republicans have named things after Lord of the Rings characters and happen to be Lord of the Rings fans. So therefore, Lord of the Rings is just inherently right wing.
Well, it's weird. It's now Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think is a symbol of
Harry
the
Potter,
alt-right.
yes.
Lord of the Rings is a symbol of the alt-right. I'm waiting for the next big like fantasy series that gets called alt-right.
That's I just found out if you're a fan of HBO's Black Lady sketch show, you're actually on the far right. That's crazy. That's such a stupid thing. And of course, people will take this and run with it too. Like there will be, because of this clip, at some point somewhere in this country, there will be an innocent person reading Lord of the Rings and somebody will tell them, oh, I guess you're right wing now.
Yeah.
And that person will genuinely go, I don't know what you're talking. What do you mean? And they go, well, you haven't heard that, Peter Thiel, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
He, names things after, and J.D. Vance also, they name things after characters of the Lord of the Rings. So you're not supposed to be reading that anymore. You know how many people told me that when I read Harry Potter at work last year? I've been reading a lot. I reread all of the Harry Potters last year just because I wanted to. And I would bring them to work with me. Do you know how many fucking people are like, man, those books are so great. So bad about the author, though. So sad. Like they wanted to bring it up constantly. And I literally all the time I go, what are you talking about? I act like I don't know.
You just start speaking to them in parcel tongue.
Yeah. It's just so sad what J.K. Rowling has said, though.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, but none of her tweets are in the book, so I'm pretty good. It's so fucking stupid.
But if they were, it'd probably make the book a little better.
Honestly, yes. Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah. Well, what do you think will be the next fantasy series that gets termed alt-right?
What the truth is that they're authoritarian, like fucking crazy people, and so any story that has any kind of authoritarian element where they have to knock down the authoritarianism, they're gonna start to go, that's all right wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we want to be the authoritarians and we don't want you to knock us down. So stop reading that stuff.
I mean, that is why they're rewriting 1984, right?
Probably. I'm sure. They I forget why they're rewriting. They're rewriting it in some specific way that is
because it wasn't feminist enough.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
It didn't follow their orthodoxy enough.
So weird. And I've heard people say that one too, because people on the right all bring up, COVID and like will say, yeah, this is so 1984, like all of the left wing, measures that were put in place to keep people in their homes.
I heard somebody say that was
monitor
a dog
people.
Whistle. If you say something
bring
is
up
Orwellian,
yep.
it's actually a dog whistle.
A dog whistle for the right wing. Yep, I've heard that too. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like the Jimmy Dore bit that's all about, like, don't read. You shouldn't read.
Yeah.
You haven't been reading, have you?
We found ourselves a reader.
Looks like we found ourselves a reader.
We found a real reader over here. What are we going to do about this?
It is so weird, the whole, like, people going, you get, like, judged for doing your own research. It's like, what? So your solution to living in the world is to not look into anything and to just trust what you're told by authoritarians.
Hell yeah, because I'm a patriot.
It's ridiculous.
That's what I do.
It's crazy.
Actually, I think that was Jimmy Dore just doing a Bill Hicks clip. I think Bill Hicks
did that originally?
Yeah, that was his bit.
Look, we live in a fucking crazy world.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. I don't even know. Again, why do we do a fucking podcast? What is this? When you compare it to everything else going on in the world, it's like this is the least important thing in the world. But it's important to us because it gives us something to do.
Yeah, I know.
I think the best possible thing, here's why we do the podcast. I'll tell you right now.
Tell me.
And I'll be honest, I'm not doing a joke here.
Okay.
Although this would be a perfect time for a joke because after I say that. But we do the podcast because we sit down and, make jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we put a little bit of our point of view into those jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we don't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just kind of, most of the time it's irreverent, I hope. Because that's the kind of humor I like.
Yep.
And then we meet people like Dawn of Comics who, say, wow, that was really funny. And then, when we happen to take our honeymoon and end up in London, he tours us around and shows us around because he's a good person and he, saw something that he liked in what we did. And so we made a connection with somebody who, has a similar thought process. And I think that's kind of the purpose of doing art in general is to find your people, right?
Yeah, to connect.
To connect with people.
With somebody.
I was doing a little bit of writing about this earlier where, like, when I first did improv comedy in Dallas in 2015. My very first class that I took, which, by the way, don't take comedy classes. They don't work. But when I took my very first class, I went back to my car after the class and I cried like crazy because I was like, I felt like I belonged somewhere. But it wasn't because I felt like, oh, I'm going to get stage time, or, oh, maybe this could be my ticket to fame. A lot of people see improv as that, their ticket to fame, or oh, this will get me, a lot of attention, or oh, this will get me girls. The reason why I cried was because, oh, wow, I found people. Like, I found people that have a similar interest to me. Before that, I was doing music school, and I felt like all of the people treated me like I wasn't good enough. I didn't fit in with the crowd. I didn't fit in with what the, how everybody talked to me. I felt like an outcast. Like, I just didn't fit in at those parties. I always felt like an outcast and everything. It was the first time where I met a group of people where I felt like they accepted me for who I was. And allowed me to, be who I am. And in some ways I connected with people. And two of those people that I met at that place are now currently my best friends in the world, you and Byron.
Aww.
It's literally how you find your people is doing this kind of stuff. So even though I joke around about like, hey, I don't want to do the podcast or whatever, the reason why we do something like this, or the reason why you do any kind of creative thing, I think personally, is because you're taking a piece of yourself, you're presenting it to the world, and the people that you're meant to meet will then pick up on that and you grow from that. You connect with other people. Art is about making connection with people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's also about mocking authoritarianism and all kinds of different things too.
Well, art, but not all art.
Right, not all art. Every art can really be whatever it wants to be. But for me, that's what makes it important, is for finding our people. Yeah. And none of them watch this podcast.
Yeah. And let me just tell you,
it's very slow moving finding our people, but we find our people a little at a time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my sincere moment for the podcast. All right, let's move on.
Well, I just think, if you feel like you found your people when you started comedy, wait till you attend Trumpomania. You're gonna find your people, brother. You're gonna cry your eyes out, brother.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta plug the camera in because it's dying, and I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in.
I'm just kidding. Just the Trumpomania is just a funny thing to me.
That's hilarious. It's as funny as it gets, honestly. Oh man. Well, what do we got next here? We got let's see here. Oh God, This looks so fucking funny. I cannot wait for this. All right, Lauren sent me this news this news piece here. Let's see what it has to say.
I was trying to give Josh something for his for jerking off. I found a good source of material.
Well, since we're already talking about it, the title of this is Crossing Guard Accused of Giving E-Cigarettes Marijuana to Middle School Students in Darby. But looking at this picture, now let me ask you this. Is this person wearing eyeliner?
I think she's wearing a mouth liner.
You think this is a woman? Because I'm sorry. I think this has got to be... the 5 o'clock shadow that almost looks less like hair on the face and more like dirt.
It does.
Like the face looks dirty. Like this person just came out of the coal mines. This is nuts. All right.
We're saying they're very attractive.
Yeah, let's take a look at the video here.
A crossing guard in Delaware County has been arrested. 26-year-old Kiara Lee is charged with giving marijuana.
What the hell? Are they a midget too? What the fuck?
I think they are.
What in the world? That's the tiniest Oompa Loompa I've ever seen in my life. Wow.
So they're a little person and they're covered in dirt.
Dirt-covered little person. Let's keep going.
Middle school. It is Wednesday night. Shari's off. Sarah Bloomquist is joining us. And the big story in Action News is the arrest of that crossing guard in Darby, Delaware County.
Authorities say along with giving kids marijuana, she was also contacting at least one student via text messages.
Action News reporter John Paul.
Okay, so far, sounds cool. So far, coolest crossing guard. Cheers to the cool crossing guards. If I was in middle school and a crossing guard was giving me marijuana, my mama would have kicked her ass. I punt you like a football, you little midget. That's what my mom would have said, not me. I don't condone that kind of language.
How for a crossing guard, don't you need to at least be visible to the cars driving by?
Oompa loompa doompa dee doo.
We can
I've got
smoke-
some more marijuana for you. All right, let's see. Let's keep going with this. Oh, well, shit.
Well, live in media tonight with the full story. John.
Yeah, Rick, Sarah, we talked to the Delaware District Attorney today, the Delaware County District Attorney here today, and he outlined all of those charges. We also know that crossing guard worked at a rec center with kids near the police department, and tonight police say that she gave drugs to a 14-year-old girl. Our cameras were there last night as police led 26.
That's awful that this 8-year-old girl gave drugs to a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you want to trade clothes too? You look about my size.
This is just wild.
If I was in middle school and this thing was helping me cross the street and they're like, hey there. I'm just trying to I need like a balloon with helium to do what I think this person's voice is. Hey there, kids. But it's like, hey, do you want an e-cigarette? I'd be like, oh, no thanks. I might end up like you. Like, I might catch whatever you have. I don't know. What the hell? I don't want to be anything like this person.
6-year-old Kiara Lee to a waiting van, her feet shackled. She faces a list of charges, including possession of drugs.
Why would they shackle her feet? You know she can't run far. You can catch her.
Yeah.
And corruption of minors. Investigators say she used her position as a crossing guard at an intersection near Penwoods Middle School to get close to kids and gave at least one child edible marijuana.
She's supposed to be, as you said, a crossing guard protecting children. Instead, she's using that position to get to know children and then sharing harmful products.
The Delaware County
She's
District
just trying
Attorney
to
says,
expand their mind, dude.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get these kids high.
Just get a little high.
I'm just trying to get these kids a little high. She literally is a human towel.
Yeah.
Her name is Lee. Turns out her name is Towel Lee. Hey, kids, you want to get a little high?
You're a towel.
No, you're a towel.
I'm a crossing guard. You're a towel.
Oh, man.
they are looking to see if more kids got drugs from Lee. In the affidavit obtained by Action News, at least 4 kids were interviewed by police.
You can imagine a child who's taken edible marijuana and is sitting in a classroom is not exactly paying attention, becoming an...
Yeah, you don't fucking say. You can imagine a child high on weed in a classroom, can't you? Yes, I think I can.
They're giggling uncontrollably.
Try to put yourself in a position where you can imagine a child taking marijuana and then going to class. Okay, well, I'll just think of all my friends growing up. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, my God.
I mean, we don't believe that crossing guards should be giving out marijuana edibles
No, not at all.
to the kids.
No, I don't think anybody should be giving children drugs that they're not old enough to legally consume, nor should, even if they're old enough to legally consume them, the crossing guard shouldn't be giving them out. I'm just saying, like, let them go get them on their own.
The crossing guard should just get you safely to the place where you can purchase your edibles.
I'll help you cross the street, and I'll also help you cross the third dimension.
I'll help you cross the rainbow to get to my pot of gold.
Exactly.
I still don't understand how they could be a crossing guard, because there's no way that cars could see them as they're pulling up.
No, not at all. I've been hit by 4 cars so far, but I still think I'm a pretty good crossing guard.
According to investigators...
By the way,
Lee
everything
gave
you need to know about that investigator guy there is that he has little pin that has the American flag with the Ukrainian flag on it.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta throw this on before I'm on the news.
Yeah.
paying attention, becoming an A student.
According to investigators, Lee gave a vape to the child as well and even texted with her about her experience after taking marijuana. We know that Lee also...
I mean, look, if you have to look at... I like to look at the silver lining. I like to look at the bright side. There was no sexual assault here, right? There was no... It doesn't seem like there was any kind of weird pedophilia kind of thing going on here.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know yet, but so far with the details, it's just, I gave the kid an e-cig, texted him later and said, that was pretty sick. How do we know this crossing guard just didn't like getting high?
How do we know?
And who can blame them? You know who also likes getting high? Kids.
I think you're right. I think this crossing guard was one of the kids at this school.
Let me ask you something. And I mean this. I want you to really think about this, okay? Mm-hmm. What would you rather your kid do? Sit around scrolling TikTok all day, where TikToks that tell them that they might be a different gender than they really are, or your kid is, getting high and being sick? I shared that video earlier of the kid, it looks like little kids and they have cigarettes and they're lighting up the cigarettes, and it's like finally kids that aren't staring at their phone all day. I'm just joking. I don't think kids should take drugs. I'm just FYI. I'm making jokes on Working Crass podcast.
No drugs, only hormones.
Yeah, no. Kids should never take drugs unless that drug is supposed to block their puberty from happening.
Yeah. And I think crossing guards shouldn't be texting children unless it's to tell them where the nearest gender clinic is.
By the way, if that crossing guard had been giving them puberty blockers, this would be a celebratory piece.
Oh, they'd be a hero.
This would be like, look at how great this crossing guard is.
Yeah, they'd put a hot picture of her.
I don't know where they're going to find that. We've seen a video of this one.
I feel like they found the most raggedy,
definitely
disheveled picture that they could find. Like, they did that on purpose.
No, I believe, usually I watch the news and I'm skeptical. When I saw that person, I go, yeah, that person gave kids drugs.
Yeah, but you had no way of knowing they were going to be a little person.
No way. Oh, man.
Also worked at a rec center nearby and was known in the community.
I do know exactly who you're talking about, and I always see her on that side
she
of
tiny.
and Summit.
We talked to one mom picking her son up from Penwood Middle School today.
They talked to her for like 5 minutes and they're like, this is her name. She's like, I don't know her. And they're like, oh, she's a crossing guard. She's like, I don't know many crossing guards. They're like, the little one. And she goes, I do know her. I see her over there all the time. Oh, the little one? Absolutely.
I know her. She's over there acting small always. She's 3 foot tall. I do not like her.
Look, she has a lot in common with the kids, like height.
She was surprised by what the crossing guard was accused of doing.
My reaction to it is another reason why I'm scared for my son to go here, and I'm glad that he graduated.
We're back out here live now. Police are looking into this, especially since that she had so much access to children, having worked at that nearby rec center. So, Sarah, tonight they're asking parents to call them if they might have any information about other victims who may be out there. We're live tonight in media. John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Sarah?
Okay, John, thanks for the update.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you, Action News.
Thank you, Action News, for
reporting on the misdeeds of little people running amok in our cities.
Oompa loompa doompa dee doo. I've got a new jewel pod for you.
What would you give for a Zen today?
Oh, man. Anyway, well, let's go ahead. We've done over an hour, so let's wrap it up with just one more story. We're gonna save this one for later. That'll be a great one. But let's do an Am I the Asshole? It's been a little bit since we've done an Am I the Asshole.
Hell yeah.
This one is nice and fun. Am I the asshole for divorcing my husband because of his farts? So let's start here. I truly wish this were a joke. Part of this whole situation is on me for not dating him for a long time before we got married, and a big chunk of that dating was spent having completely lost my sense of smell from COVID. That fact alone is absolutely unbelievable, but it's true. Side note, I got my smell back. The other wild part is that when we were dating, he hung over at my place mainly, and I didn't carry a lot of unhealthy snacks for him to snack on at night. This fact is very relevant for the story. Once we got married, things went downhill very quickly. He started inhaling as many snacks and as much dairy as possible at night. He started fueling up. Sometimes he would go out and get a deep dish, fried cheese, loaded pizza. That doesn't exist. As someone who loves deep dish pizza and loves fried cheese, there's no such thing as a deep dish fried cheese pizza. I'll say that now. That does not exist.
Because you've been looking.
If it existed, I would eat it, and then my wife would leave me for my farts. And devour it at 11 p.m. after eating an entire bag of greasy chips and like 27 pieces of taffy and a glass of milk or 3. Holy shit, this guy's an endless tank.
But hold on.
Oh, my God. He ate a whole deep dish fried cheese pizza, a bag of chips, 27 pieces of taffy.
But is taffy known for giving people farts? Is that like a fart-inducing candy?
What do you think the laughy part is about?
It's gassy taffy.
Gassy taffy. And then on top of all of that, those horrible pieces of food, she says a glass of milk or 3. Who sits down with a deep dish pizza and goes and give me some milk too? That's gross. I've always thought it was gross anybody who drinks just milk by itself. I've always found that gross. And I think it's because when I was a kid, Nate used to, my little brother used to drink milk a lot. Was really into just drinking a glass of milk. And I think it was Cracker Barrel we went to. And my brother had his.
That's the right setting to drink a glass of milk in.
For sure. And we had the kids' cups, which are, they're like colorful and there's a lid on them, so you can't see what's inside. And I think I had like a Diet Coke or something. And so I go to sip thinking it's Diet Coke, but I've accidentally grabbed the wrong thing and I get a mouthful of milk. And when you expect something smoother than milk is thick. Like milk is a weird texture to get in your mouth when you're expecting water or soda or something else. Ever since that day, I can't even think about just drinking milk by itself. There's just something about, and seeing someone with a big, tall glass of milk, it just makes me think of the McPoyles on It's Always Sunny. It's like, it's just a dirty drink. I don't know why.
I've never found milk refreshing.
It's never refreshing. It's always made me feel fatty and bloated and
But we're also both slightly lactose intolerant, so.
Well, I'm not, but
just when it comes to milk.
Yeah, no. I mean, I used to be able to eat and drink whatever I want, and my body would be just completely normal. And then I started dating this Jew over here, and my diet changed because your diet is very different, and your stomach gets upset with everything. And now all the things I love, when I eat them, they upset my stomach.
Yeah.
Because you've ruined me.
Yeah, I gave you sympathy hemorrhoids too.
You ruined me. But you know what? Just because all that stuff makes me poop my pants doesn't mean I can't become president. Whoopi Goldberg will still vote for me.
Yep.
Even if I got a pants full of shit.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg would never divorce this man.
No, she goes, everybody poo-poos, everybody farts.
She said, that's my diet.
At first, I thought it was just a bad fart here and there. But as the nights progressed, I realized that the bad farts were becoming a nightly nightmare. I know what normal stinky farts are, even bad sulfuric farts, but these are not simply either of those. These farts are incompatible with life itself.
The plants are just wilting. Their pet died. The fish in the fish tank are just floating at the top.
Oh my God. She says, the first time one really hit me in the face, I projectile vomited. Jesus. I could taste them. They were almost as are almost tangible objects in the air. I'm convinced they are soaked into the carpet and walls. Rotten egg is not even enough to describe what the smell is. It's almost as if something literally died inside of his stomach and was leaking into the air, trying to kill anyone that smells it. His farts are not human. They are not silly little rotten egg farts. There is something wrong with him, truly. These farts are almost alive and with a mind of their own, and they are terrifying. If there was a horror movie made about farts, it would be about his. Oh my God.
Maybe he just needs an exorcist to come get the demon out of his butt.
Jesus Christ. I work with some people like this.
Yeah? They have fart demons?
No. Not this bad. They just have BO, but Jesus Christ, this is bad. Or at least it's being described bad. Maybe this person's just fart tolerance is just off, and these are just normal farts, but this person goes, these farts are incompatible with life itself. I don't know. They're probably pretty bad, especially when she described what he ate. Which, again, doesn't exist. There is no fried cheese pizza. Does not exist.
And who just has 27 pieces of taffy? That's crazy.
That's just
very a random thing to have.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I feel like you'd be chewing for hours.
Oh, yeah. 26, 27. All right, here we go. They are unsettling at best. They make your mind feel like something bad happened, perhaps a murder. Your spirit does not feel settled. Because these are not normal farts in any way at all. These are violently horrifying. I love the description. I want to write a song with all of these descriptive words.
The man is just sitting in his fart cloud and he types out like a play, and it's just like Jack Torrance in The Shining.
All taffy and no milk makes me a fart boy. just over and over and over.
Yep.
It got to the point where I had to stop sleeping in our bedroom the second month of marriage. Not only that, but I had to blast the AC, stuff towels under our door, stuff towels under my daughter's door, turn the fan on in both rooms, and sleep in her room with her. He snuck into her room and farted when I was almost asleep so that I would start dry heaving.
Yeah.
I had to start sleeping with the door locked with her.
He went, "Here's farting."
It's like,
and the door just like
exactly.
breaks open.
Yep. Instead of the sound of the axe hitting the door, it's just the door's shaking. When I asked him if he thought the amount of food he was inhaling every night was causing his farts, he said yes. She goes, "These farts are awful. Do you think maybe it's the food?" He goes, "Yes." He interrupts her with a yes.
He went, "Yes."
I asked maybe if he could slow down. He goes, "No." Or substitute for healthier snacks such as sea salt popcorn or a bit lighter and less full of thick cheese snacks. And he said, "No, he did. I was just joking." His reasoning? Oh my God. He said he likes the way the farts feel exiting his butt as they vibrate his prostate and butthole. Like, I'm not even kidding. He freaking said that. I'm so horrified that I even typed.
That's our next president right there.
Oh my God. I like the way the farts feel leave my butt. They feel nice. I'm so horrified that I even typed that, she says. My life became a living nightmare as I could no longer sleep in my room and also remain alive. My desk was in my room, so I also had to stop working in the daytime from my bedroom. He works from home in the bedroom too. I had to change the entire situation just to cater to the pleasure of his farts. Jesus Christ. I tried desperately to get him to go to a doctor. I found referrals to gastroenterologists. I bought him probiotics, enzymes, milk substitutes. I cooked healthy meals. He would literally tell me he didn't want the healthy meal and drive himself to Taco Bell instead. He refused to go to the doctor. He took the probiotics sometimes, but usually just pretended to and slipped them by his nightstand so I wouldn't see that he didn't take them. Jesus Christ. Why does this guy love... It's not just that his farts are so bad. He loves the farts. He's in love. He loves the farts more than he loves his wife.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Well, he's like, you never vibrate my prostate the way my farts do.
Jesus. This guy has to also be like 500 pounds, right? With what he's eating.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Knowing I was going to have to remain on prescription nausea meds, possibly for life, just to cohabitate with this man was so mind-blowing. Our budget was going crazy to keep up with the demands of the amount of food needed to keep his farting for pleasure needs met. No way. This has gotta be bullshit, man. This is crazy. At one point, he literally inhaled so much food so fast and so nonstop that he gained 12 pounds in 48 hours, and he looked at the scale and screamed. I tried to get him into therapy and a psychiatrist, but no. I am a very body positive person that does not fat shame and genuinely believes that you should eat what makes you feel healthy and good and not worry about hitting some numbers on a scale. Well, you know what, dude?
Yeah, but fried cheese deep dish pizza isn't healthy or good.
And also, body positivity is the first step to enabling this type of behavior. Just FYI. Like, that's why people warn against the body positivity movement, is because, yes, it starts with, oh, you should just feel good about yourself. But what it ends with is, I should be able to do whatever I want to my body until it's grotesquely like bad, and you can't tell me it's bad.
Yeah.
Right? This situation, however, feels like feels like a very disastrous issue that is very weird and not very common. Something that people probably can't relate to because it's just completely absurd in every way. You got that right. He said he will always choose that vibrational fart feeling and the fart smell and the grease snacks and the cheese above me. He said that is a hill he is forever willing to die on. Oh my God. Who is this man?
This is a psychopath.
This is crazy.
This is a psychopath. And I'm telling you, this man will run for president in the next 4 years.
Oh my God. Anyway, that is the story of why I'm divorcing my husband over farts. On the surface level, I know it sounds like it's just about farts, and then I'm just a really shallow wife, but I think it's actually so much deeper. It's just hard to explain how. So much deeper. It's like in the gut.
It's like coming out the gut through the anus.
Now, she did give an update up here at the top. She says, lots of people are saying I'm lying, and I really wish I was, like truly. But he's actually already gone viral for trying to fart in a tent with me and my daughter trapped in it. Except it wasn't my daughter. It was my mom. Here's the video proof of his fart situation because it's real and this is my actual life. Oh my God. Let's check this out.
See, Josh, and you thought we weren't going to find anything fun today.
Oh, my God. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Come on. Let's give it a second. All right. This is better have sound. We got to hear this. This says...
I'm worried that the smell's going to come through the TV.
My fiance stuck his butt into a tent and farted into my mother's face because he thought it was me. Oh, my God. That's a nightmare. This is why you never fart on your girlfriend because you think it's funny, because you accidentally end up farting on her mother.
No. I thought you were in the tent, and Charlie was like, come find us.
This guy's not as big as I thought he was going to be.
No, not at all.
Nowhere near as big.
Yeah.
This guy eats a fried deep dish pizza. Even the dog back here is like, I'm gonna die. Okay, let's
Well, that's like
again.
their 5th dog that they've had to buy.
No. I thought you were in the tent, and Charlie was like, come find us. And so I looked, and they were moving the tent, and I thought you were holding Charlotte, and it was your mom, and they're covered by a blanket. So I tooted into the tent.
He didn't toot, he farted. He didn't make a little fart.
I thought it was you.
Okay, I will say, I mean, okay, that's a fine video or whatever. That does not prove. This is proof I'm not lying and he's rank. I mean, I get that this is proof that he farts, but it's not proof of the stink, okay? I expected to see that dog fall over unconscious in the background.
I expected it to be like the mom is being carried out on a stretcher.
I expected to turn on that footage and it looks like footage from Gaza. Like, I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
For sure.
And this person says, I don't think it's the farts. It's how inconsiderate he is about your well-being, honestly. I mean, clearly. She says that he says he will always choose that fart feeling and the fart smell and the grease snacks and the cheese above me. He says that's a hill he's forever willing to die on. That's fucking crazy to say that to your wife. Farts over my wife.
Is that an alpha move?
You know, bros before hoes? Well, I say gas before hose. Can't fuck. I fucked that up. I don't know. That's crazy. Ugh. But you know what? I respect it. And I'm going to start living that way from now on. I will say that this story absolutely disgusted me, but it also convinced me to get a deep dish pizza for dinner tonight. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I read that story and I said, I'm kind of hungry. You know what? Some of that food sounds pretty good.
Some of those farts sound pretty good.
I mean, I've eaten poorly in my life before.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
I've maybe had clear out the room farts once ever in the entire time that we've been dating.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it was more funny than anything else. You know?
Look,
and you were very shameful about it too. Like you were very embarrassed.
hey, I'm not afraid to say it. My wife comes before my farts. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. All right. Well, before we wrap up the episode,
are they the asshole?
Oh. The woman leaving her husband? Absolutely she's an asshole. Always stay loyal to your husband. Even if he'll pick his farts above you. You got to stay with it. If you marry the farts, you're married to the farts. You got to stay with the farts. Even if you have little fart kids.
Yeah, till death do us fart.
How is it that they ended up having children together, too? She made it sound like, oh, we started dating during COVID, and then I couldn't smell it, and then now just recently I've smelled it. But they have, like, a child.
Well, not for long, because life can't be sustained around his farts, so...
And the child did pass away over gas and...
Yeah, now they did count it as a COVID death, but...
I just say when you're in a relationship, you need to be like Whoopi Goldberg and say, I don't care if he poops his fucking pants.
Yeah.
Anyway. Even if the farts violate humanity, what did she say? It's incompatible with life itself.
Yeah.
I don't care if Biden shits his pants and the smell is incompatible with life itself. I'll vote for him. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on. Lauren, what'd you learn today?
I learned... I didn't learn a goddamn thing.
Wow, damn. First episode where you learned absolutely nothing.
I learned shit.
Oh, my God. Well, I learned that when I have kids, I'm going to tell them to avoid any crossing guards that are the same height as them. I go, only listen to the crossing guards that are taller than you. If they're taller than you, then they have some authority over you. If they're the same height as you, don't take anything they give you. How about this? When I have kids, I learned that not to take anything from any crossing guards. If a crossing guard gives you something, don't take it.
Yeah, it's probably sketch.
It's probably sketchy. Crossing guard should give you nothing. Crossing guard should just get you from one side of the street to the other side.
Yep. Yeah.
But I think she would have argued, I am getting them from one side of the street to the other side, but it's a journey.
In the mind.
In the mind.
You have to go to the third plane.
All right. Well, folks, thanks again for tuning in to Working Crass Podcast. We will see you next week. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.